What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of MUT Tips. I am your host, Sean Taylor from the Made Up Theater, and let's jump into today's topic, breaking in improv. So breaking means when a performer unintentionally breaks character by laughing in some sort of a scene, whether it's in sketch comedy or improv or in movies. The bloopers highlight those segments of filming. And it's not inherently a bad thing. In fact, there's a lot of memorable sketches on SNL where characters break the reality that they've established by laughing. And it's funny though, like if you look at the Debbie Downer sketch that Rachel Dratch stars in. The entire cast at some point just breaks and has a difficult time continuing with the sketch, but the audience is still on board with it and is actually applauding it because it's a rare moment when that does happen and it can be funny. And the sketch was funny. That's why they were on board with the fact that the performers were having a hard time getting through it. And it's one of those things that it can be funny in small doses, but it can also hinder improv. So there's primarily three reasons why an improviser might break character on stage. Number one is surprise, number two is nervousness, and number three is lack of total commitment to the character. So the first one is surprise, and this is literally unavoidable. You're gonna get surprised on stage sometimes, and it might cause you to break character. If a fellow improviser provides some really bold choice that just makes you laugh a little bit, or even a lot to the point where it's difficult to continue the scene, that's gonna happen. But more often than not, as long as it's really bold and it actually really gets to you, the audience will be okay with it. One of my favorite improv groups is called Improv Shakespeare Company, and usually there's at least one moment in the show where the cast members do break on stage because of such like a strong, unusual choice. And the audience is laughing along with them. So that's a good example of breaking character. It doesn't happen the whole show. It's like a rare moment that we all get to kind of break that fourth wall together and just kind of have kind of like a shared experience with the performers on stage as well as the audience. So the second thing to talk about is nervousness. And this is something that you're not going to be able to overcome overnight. It's a process. When you first take an improv class for the first time, the most overwhelming sensation in your being is nervousness. You're nervous to do something that is new. Most people don't even know what improv is when they take a class for the first time. They don't know what to expect. Whenever new students come to Made Up Theater for the first time and they're on stage doing their first scenes, they're generally laughing or smiling along the way. And I don't discourage this. I want them to have fun learning and exploring and discovering the fundamentals of improvisation because it's fun. I don't want to just say, hey, why are you laughing in this scene? You shouldn't be. That's not what your character should be doing right now. I don't do that because that's defeating the purpose of improvisation, which is to learn those fundamentals first. And then we can work on actual stage presence as we get more into it. As time progresses and you become less nervous, it happens. As you do improv more and more, you're going to be less nervous. You'll still feel it a little bit, but at that point, when you are less nervous, you can start to kind of like, trim the little fat off the sides, trim those little smiles off, those little laugh moments that are kind of unnecessary. You'll get over it a little bit. It's just going to take some time. So nervousness ties into number three, which is lack of total commitment to a character. And I say total commitment, which means, improvisers, when they go on stage and get into a character, they're committed to it, but how much are they committed to it? Whenever I go on stage, I want to commit my entire self to a character because honestly, when you're that committed to a character, it makes it easier to improvise. I don't have to think of lines, they just kind of naturally come out because I understand the character's philosophy, point of view, I know how the character moves and how the character talks, I know the character's emotional state. When I know all that information, more often than not, I'm not going to break character. So maybe if I'm on stage and I'm an angry boss and I'm just mad at everything, I'm tossing over tables and chairs, punching the wall because maybe my employees didn't make the sales goal for the month, and then suddenly one of them kind of makes, a remark to me, and it makes the audience laugh hysterically, and it might cause me to laugh hysterically. But if I start laughing, then I'm kind of betraying my character's traits. And bear in mind, this could also be a surprise. I could laugh in that regard as well, but as my character, I shouldn't be laughing at what my employees are saying to me. But going into this further, if you do laugh, there's some things you can do. There's a few techniques. So first of all, if I laugh, sometimes I might turn away. I turn upstage. So I'm facing this way, away from the audience. And I might be laughing, I might be hiding my face, but I'm kind of centering myself so that I can turn back into the scene and resume my character. Also, I can kind of, incorporate it into the show as well. If you stumble, you just make it a part of the dance. If my character starts laughing, I can kind of make it more of like a sarcastic laugh, and if you like start laughing, and then I walk towards him and I like punch him in the face or something, and then I say, "You think that's funny?" Suddenly it's a part of the show and it's a part of my character. I was able to turn my breaking moment into, a big choice. And that's something you can do as well. Ultimately, this takes practice. You're going to break. There's tactics you can do. You can cover your face a little bit. You can kind of hide your face or hide your body a little bit. And ultimately, it's a moment that the audience can still get on board with, but we want to make sure that it's not happening too much. It should be kind of a rare occurrence. Because again, it's breaking reality. It's breaking the fourth wall to the audience. So we can't do it too often. So again, when you're on stage, commit yourself full force to a character. Really become the character, and you shouldn't have a reason to break character. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of MUT Tips. I truly appreciate it. If you did like the video, feel free to give it a like down below or comment with a question you would like addressed in a future video. It's all helpful to growing this channel. Also, we're here every Tuesday, so subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. That's where you can watch these videos in future times, which is next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you next week with another episode of MUT Tips. Bye.